nays are 48. The nomination of Amy Coney Barrett of Indiana to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States is confirmed.
And it is a major victory for Donald Trump. Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed as a Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court. She took her oath of office at a ceremony at the White House where she explained her legal principles.
It is the job of a judge to resist her policy preferences. It would be a dereliction of duty for her to give in to them.
Tracking the Trump war, we report from Arizona on the role immigration is playing in the presidential campaign. A call for Europe to step up its battle against coronavirus, as some hospitals in Belgium ask infected staff without symptoms to carry on working. And patches of hidden water could boost plans to build a permanent base on the moon. Hello to you. The newest member of the U.S. Supreme Court, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, has been sworn into office at a White House ceremony. She is President Trump's third appointment to the nation's top court and cements a conservative majority on the bench. The Republican majority Senate voted largely along party lines, as expected, to confirm her to the lifetime post. She is 48. The Democrats had accused the Republicans of hypocrisy for confirming a new justice so close to an election when they'd refused to consider President Obama's nominee back in 2016. This is the moment the appointment was confirmed in the Senate.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 48. The nomination of Amy Coney Barrett of Indiana to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States is confirmed.
Events then moved swiftly to the swearing-in ceremony on the White House lawn, President Trump describing her as a towering intellect and her appointment as a momentous day for America. She was sworn in by the longest-serving Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
The duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. My fellow Americans, even though we judges don't face elections, we still work for you. It is your Constitution that establishes the rule of law and the judicial independence that is so central to it. The oath that I have solemnly taken tonight means at its core that I will do my job without any fear or favor, and that I will do so independently of both the political branches and of my own preferences. I love the Constitution and the democratic republic that it establishes, and I will devote myself to preserving it. Thank you.
Justice on the U.S. Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett. Let's go live now to Fairfax, Virginia, and to Jennifer Nicole Victor. She's Associate Professor of Political Science at George Mason University. Thank you very much for your time. Well, what do you make of this event, and also specifically what Amy Coney Barrett was saying there?
Well, to be frank, this is a bit of a fait accompli, as it has been set out about a month ago, once her nomination came forward pretty quickly after the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That created a vacancy on the court. And, the Republican Party has a majority in the United States Senate, which has the authority for approving these nominations from the president. And so what we've seen is just a very unusually rapid confirmation process, certainly down to the wire just before the U.S. election.
And when the president says this is a momentous day for America, it absolutely is, isn't it? I know for some voters there is nothing more important than a conservative majority on the Supreme Court. And whoever wins this election, whoever wins the election after that, this could shape the country for a generation.
Certainly, the judicial branch is 1/3 of the three branches, as it were, of the U.S. government. And control of the judicial branch is seen as an important marker in any democratic society. Of course, the judicial branch is supposed to be the one that is independent and free of politics. And unfortunately, since President Trump has now had 3 appointments, which is quite unusual for a president who has only been in office a bit less than 4 years. And so he's certainly had more of a mark on this particular court than we've seen from presidents in the past, which puts a bit of a shadow on the court in terms of infecting it with a bit more politics and partisanship than we've seen as a result of previous administrations and appointments.
She clearly tried to address that point, didn't she, in her acceptance speech? The worries of the people opposed to her appointment, drawing this distinction between judges on the one hand, members of Congress and the president on the other. She said it's the job of a judge to resist policy preferences. It would be a dereliction of duty to give in to them.
Which, absolutely, and it's a perfectly appropriate and back thing for a justice to say at this point, and she is rising to the state of her new office in that sense. So certainly great credit to Justice Barrett for that particular position. Of course, politically, because this is happening on the eve of the election, and she is now one of 3 justices on the court who have been appointed on a very strict party line vote, which previous justices were not subject to. Previous justices, prior to the filibuster being eliminated in 2017, were appointed on much more consensus line votes, where it was far more than just a party line that appointed them. And so she's clearly very cognizant of that moment. And while many Republicans clearly are putting the Supreme Court as a high priority in their judgments on the upcoming election, much more so than Democrats, it appears that this appointment is coming at a time where Republicans can claim a victory on the eve of, according to the polls, unless things change a lot in the next week, on the eve of what may appear to be a great defeat for them in different branches of government. And so to that extent, it may be a way of balancing the power.
Professor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, the World Health Organization